I'm going to be sharing the ultimate craft show guide. Canopy to go flying across the whole event. You will regret not having it. I completely forgot the most basic thing. This can really attract customers to set you up for a successful and hopefully stress-free show. Hi friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kyra if you're new here, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing the ultimate craft show guide. I'll be covering all the essential tips and information that you need to know before your first craft show. We'll talk about market prep, we'll go through an important checklist of must-have items, discuss booth setup, and more. So this video is going to be split into 5 main sections: choosing a market/market research, market prep, essentials you don't want to forget, accepting payments, and booth setup. In each of these categories, I'll dive a little further and give some tips and tricks to set you up for a successful and hopefully stress-free show. So whether you're watching this before your very first craft show or you've done this 100 times, I hope that you can find some helpful tips for your own market. And let's go ahead and get right into the video. So first things first, let's talk about choosing a market. It's important to make sure that the market you're choosing is a good fit for you and your business. I can speak from personal experience that just because there's a market in your area doesn't necessarily mean that you should sign up for it. It's always important to get as much information about the show as you can before making your decision. Check the show's website or Facebook page where you can find things like the date, the time, the location, any kind of theme that this market has, or the audience that it's geared towards. For example, I don't think that my inventory would perform very well at a vintage themed market, so definitely make sure that you do your research and figure out who the target audience of this show is. Another thing to consider is how well is this show marketed? Are they advertising it on TV, on Facebook, billboards, the newspaper? And does there seem to be a large response to this event? This can help you determine if there's going to be high traffic at this market and if it's even worth your while. Another tip that I have for you when doing your market research is to join craft show groups on Facebook. This is how I find out about the majority of my markets, and it's also a really great way to connect with other crafters. These groups are also really helpful because you can hear inside information and experiences about a craft show that you might be considering. So definitely before moving any further, make sure that you choose the right market for you and you do your market research. So now let's talk market prep. So before the market even begins, we have to dive into all the important prep work that goes into a show. You will want to start this process weeks or even months in advance, depending on how large this market is and the expected turnout. I honestly need to follow my own advice and start this process earlier because there are so many times when I'm stressed out and it's the last minute and I'm just scrambling around trying to get everything together. So you will definitely want to start this process as early as you can. So the first thing you'll want to do is order and gather all of your supplies. You'll need to order and purchase all of the blank items that you'll need to begin your prep work. For me, this process looks like ordering blank glass tumblers, keychains, bookmarks, ribbons, vinyls, anything that I need or that I'm low in stock on that is essential to begin making inventory. Once you have all of your supplies ordered and you have everything you need to get started, it's time for the fun part, making your inventory. Like I mentioned earlier, make sure to start this process as soon as possible to avoid any unwanted stress. Make sure to keep track of all your inventory as you make it and set realistic goals on how many things you'd like to take to the market. If you have done markets before, be sure to base your inventory on what has done well for you, what didn't do well for you. These are all things to consider when making your inventory so you can have the best sales possible. And while we're talking about inventory, I wanted to mention a few of the things that I make. So I use my Cricut and I make glass tumblers, keychains, bookmarks, card charms, and more. And I recently just started my own Etsy shop about 5 or so months ago. So be sure to check that out if you're interested. And if you're enjoying this video so far, please be sure to give it a thumbs up because that really helps me out. And now let's get back into the market prep process. So the next essential tip that I have for you is to quality check your items. You want to be sure the things that you're bringing with you are good quality. There's nothing peeling up. Like for example, I always look at my tumblers and make sure that there's no vinyl peeling up or any imperfections with the vinyl itself. And this just ensures that you don't have a bad name for you or your business. So make sure that you don't miss this very important step to ensure that you have the best quality products to take to your markets. And my last essential tip for the market prep stage is to price and package all of your items. When pricing your items, make sure to include any material cost and consider the amount of time and labor that it took you to make each item. This is also the time if you have to brand or package your items in like a sleeve or add stickers or whatever it is that you need to do, make sure that you do it in this step before market day. So now that you've chosen your market, you have your market prep done, it's now time to go over a list of essentials that you do not want to forget. I've put together 5 things that are commonly overlooked and often forgotten whenever making your checklist and packing your car. So the first thing to add to your list is tables and chairs. Now, sometimes these are provided for you depending on what kind of show that you're doing, but if not, how awful would it be if you showed up to your market, you had all of your inventory and you remembered everything else and you realized you forgot a table? I seriously have almost done that because I was so focused on getting everything else together that I completely forgot the most basic thing. So please do not make the easy mistake of forgetting tables or chairs. Just go ahead and add that to your checklist right now. That way there's no way you can forget this. So now you have tables and chairs on your checklist and you packed them away in your car. So you get to the show and you realize you forgot your tablecloth. If your tables that you take to the craft shows look anything like mine, they have all kinds of paint splatters and hot glue and vinyl and just all kinds of stuff on there, and that is not a very cute look, so be sure to add tablecloths to your checklist. I'm gonna group these next essentials together on this list, but that's to bring scissors, tape, extra pricing stickers, a notebook, and a pen. You might not always necessarily need these things, but these are items that you don't want to need and not have. The next thing on my list all has to do with packaging, and that's to make sure you bring craft bags, boxes, tissue paper, or bubble wrap. The amount of times that I have almost forgotten my craft bags is crazy. The last thing you want to happen is to finally make your first sale and then you realize you don't have anything to put their new purchase in. Bubble wrap and tissue paper is also really nice to have on hand if you sell things like me that are breakable. So I always have this so I can wrap my glass tumblers up and make sure that they're protected. And my final essential that you don't want to forget is a power bank. This way you can make sure that your phone, your credit card reader, or anything that requires power at your table is always charged. Craft shows can definitely be a long day, and the last thing you need is the stress of your phone dying or your credit card system dying or your iPad or whatever it is that you use. So just be sure to get a power bank and bring that with you so that unnecessary stress is cut out of the equation. So we have now made it into the 4th category where we'll be discussing payments. Are you going to be doing cash only? Are you going to use services like PayPal or Venmo, a credit card processing system? These are all important things to consider and to figure out well in advance before your craft show. So obviously the easiest and simplest way to accept payments is with cash. There are no fees, there are no processing times, it's an instant transaction, but the biggest thing to remember whenever you're accepting cash is that you have plenty of change on hand. I always make sure to go to the bank a few days before the show and get out plenty of 20s, 10s, 5s, and a ton of ones. I mean a ton of ones. You can always put that money back in there if you take too much out, but the last thing you want is to get to your show, be doing awesome with your sales, and then realize you don't have any more change and you can't accept cash payments. So make sure to get out plenty of change. One hack that I have actually picked up after doing several markets is to use a fanny pack or some kind of bag that's attached to you crossbody, and that makes it so much easier to keep track of your money and to get in and out. Before doing this, I had this big bulky box and I had to open it up and put it all in there, and it was just a big hassle. So now since I've been using my fanny pack, it's literally attached to me. I have my cash register on me and I don't have to worry about losing that money or having a hard time getting into it. Now let's talk about another popular payment method, which is mobile apps. There are multiple different apps that you can transfer money with, like PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, or Zelle. Not every person is going to have cash on them, so offering this payment method is a quick and easy way to transfer money from one person to another. One tip I have for you if you're going to be offering these payment methods is to print out your QR code and frame it and put it somewhere on your table that's easily accessible. That way, whenever it comes time to pay, they can easily scan the QR code and pay you. And finally, an important thing to consider is, are you going to be accepting credit and debit cards? I do think that this is something to consider, and it can definitely increase your sales because, like I said, not that many people carry cash on them. A lot of places expect you to either have the mobile apps or some kind of credit card processing system, but it's definitely not necessary. I just think that it's a potential way to get more sales. The con that comes with this system though is that there are normally some kind of transaction fees. There are plenty of options out there if that is something that you would like to look into, and some of the most popular ones are Square, PayPal Here, Shopify POS if you already have your own Shopify online store, SumUp, and Zettle. I personally do not know all the ins and outs of all of these, so be sure if this is something you would like to do your research research and pick the one that is best for you. And now let's talk about my fifth category, which is booth setup. Before jumping into my specific tips that I have for indoor versus outdoor markets, let's cover some of the general things that you'll want to carry over into any booth. Number one, plan out your booth ahead. Whether that's sketching out your layout or design on a piece of paper or doing your own mock setup in your house, it's very important to go into any show with some sort of idea on how you would like things to be laid out. That way you can get there and set up your tables and not be stressed out. My next tip for your booth setup is to have a cohesive theme that matches you and your brand. For example, if you have a small boho themed business, make sure to include natural elements like wood and plants and macrame and woven things into your setup. That way it matches the products that you're selling. Just adding little decor pieces that match your products and your vibe that you're going for can really make a huge difference. So really think about your own personal brand and what your vibe is and what you want your customers to feel whenever they walk into your booth. My next tip for any booth setup is to have branding. You want to make sure that people know what your business is and how they can contact you in the future. So getting banners, business cards, table runners, or even having something on your table that has your socials listed on it or a way to contact you is vital to ensure that people can reach out and connect with your brand. My fourth tip is to change your booth with the seasons. As you can probably tell from the room behind me, we are currently in the fall season if you are watching this a little bit down the road, but I think that adding pumpkins and leaves and other orangey themed things really draws customers in and makes them want to stop. Think of your booth as if it's a store, because it totally is. When you go into most stores like Walmart or Target, you'll notice that they change their decor and their layout based on the season. So be sure to carry that tip into your own booth. So for example, in the springtime, you can add pastel colors or flowers. In the summer, you can add bright yellows and different summery themed things. In the fall, you add your pumpkins and your leaves. And then for winter or Christmas time, you can add red, greens, or snowy themed items. I really do think that adding seasonal touches to your booth can really elevate it. And now let's dive into some outdoor specific tips. Like I mentioned earlier, you normally have a lot more wiggle room and layout options, but the con of an outdoor market is it's weather dependent. You really have to pay attention and be prepared for whatever weather is going to be coming your way. For example, if you guys have watched one of my recent craft market vlogs, I went to a market where there was a complete downpour and it was super windy and things didn't go exactly as planned. So if you'd like a little bit of a laugh, go ahead and head on over to that video after watching this. But I have plenty of craft show market vlogs that show my outdoor booth setup, and you can take any of those ideas and incorporate them into something that works for you. But if you're doing an outdoor market, it is absolutely essential that you get some kind of tent or pop-up covering that you can protect it from the rain, the wind, and the sun. Trust me, if you do not get one of these, you will regret not having it. And a lot of outdoor shows actually require them. With outdoor markets, you're normally on your own with tables and chairs, but the pro about this is that you can design your booth exactly how you want it within those space requirements. Make sure when setting up your booth that there's plenty of walkways and open space so customers can get around your table, look at all of your products, and not have to worry about bumping into any of your displays. One really cool idea, if you have the room for it and you make products that can be easily demonstrated, is to have a little DIY or product making station. This can really attract customers and engage them into what you're doing and let them truly appreciate the handmade work that you do. And my final tip for outdoor markets is to make sure that you secure your canopy and your tables down. The last thing you need is for your canopy to go flying across the whole event, hit somebody else's table, or worse, hit a person. So make sure that you always account for the wind or anything else and secure your tables down either with weights or with stakes. And now let's talk about my tips for indoor markets. Now with indoor shows, like I mentioned, you are normally a lot more limited with your display and your space. Any show that you sign up for should have clear rules listed either on their website or on the application. So be sure to find out if you need to bring your own tables or if they'll have some provided for you. My next tip for indoor shows is to use stands, shelves, or risers. At most of the indoor shows that I do, I have about a 6 or 8 foot table and that's it. There's no room for anything else except for a small chair behind the stand. So you're not going to be able to display all the products that you want to, so using things like shelves and risers can really add some interest and make some room for more products to be displayed. Using tiered shelving or display racks really helps you to take advantage of that vertical space that you have and can make your products easily seen and more accessible. And my final tip for indoor shows is to not overcrowd your space. Trying to stuff every single thing that you've made onto this tiny little table will just make it look messy and overwhelming. I know you've spent so much hard work on making all of your products and you want to show everybody all of it, but trust me on this one, you don't want to have a messy looking table. So instead, just put out your main products that you're the most excited about and restock throughout the show. So I totally forgot to film an outro for this video, but those are my main tips if you're just starting your craft show journey or you wanted some new ideas for your next market. Either way, I hope that you guys have gotten lots of inspiration for your upcoming craft shows. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you like craft market prep, small business vlogs, cozy lifestyle content, and hobbies, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell so we can hang out each week. And I will see you guys next Saturday for a new video. Bye.